Hi, thanks very much for joining me for another Marketing Monday. My name is Natalie Armstrong-Motin with Marketing Resolution. Got my cup of chai tea latte here, ready to start the week off thinking about marketing, practice development, business, entrepreneurship, and all of those things as to how they apply to mediation and arbitration. If you're joining me, jump into the chat, say hello, let me know who you are, where you're from, tell me about your practice, anything at all that you want to talk about. Today, though, I would like to talk about why narrowing your focus is absolutely imperative. So let's get started on that idea. I think that, it's a really intriguing business concept that the fewer tasks you undertake, the more revenue you generate. And I know that seems counterintuitive. Drink to that. So I think that this concept, it it particularly applies to the scope of our services. Lots and lots of mediators and arbitrators, as I look at their CVs online, they tend to have a pretty broad practice. You probably know several folks who mediate everything from family disagreements to commercial disputes. They mediate, they arbitrate, they facilitate, they negotiate, etc. Maybe you're one of them. And I know that the reasoning behind this is simple. Um, we're all striving to expand our practices and our businesses, acquire new clients, increase revenue. It feels logical, but actually that's not at all correct. To establish a really diverse practice, as diverse as possible, to cast a wide net and therefore attract the largest possible market segment, is actually one of the fastest ways that we shoot ourselves in the foot. So, having said that, that approach of diversifying specialties and processes falls short. I think that, um, the reason is because disputing parties and their representatives, they really do prefer to engage with a specialist. And whether that's hiring a mediator to resolve a family dispute, or an arbitrator for a commercial conflict, or any other specific conflict resolution requirement, people want to hire a specialist. If you're handling construction defect cases, as an arbitrator, those clients want to know that you can read a set of blueprints, that you understand codes and specifications. They want you to have the ability to look at water intrusion issues and the values of elastomeric paint, all of those kinds of things. They really are not wanting to hire a marketer for mediators and arbitrators to handle construction defect cases. That is not my specialty. I mean, you wouldn't hire a cake decorator to drywall your house. The same thing applies when we're looking at our own practices. So, concentrating on a single practice area, or at least a cluster of related practice areas, I think is a really crucial step in building a strong brand identity and setting yourself apart from the competition. I don't think that you can or will be seen as a quote unquote expert if your scope is really, really wide. And you've seen those CVs wherein the mediator lists out 15, 20, 30, 50 different specialties. I think that's a really big mistake. Your market needs to understand your unique expertise, and that's why your focus should be narrow. Now, I understand that lots of mediators and arbitrators are hesitant to limit their practice areas, but you can begin by narrowing the focus of your marketing so that you don't have to reject all of those clients from all of your other practice areas that you've listed on your CV. I mean, I get it. We all have expenses to cover, and you might not be prepared to turn away paying clients, and that's absolutely fine. But you can, of course, continue to accept cases from those other areas, even if you concentrate your marketing on a very specific niche. And over time, of course, as you narrow your marketing focus and you establish your brand as a leader, in whatever your given practice area might be, you will attract more of the work you're focused on, and you'll be able to command higher fees for that. So develop a sustainable and efficient practice, because this way you don't have to start from scratch. Now, focusing your practice will also significantly improve your referral generation. As you know, concentrating on a single practice area makes it so much easier for your network to remember, who you are, what you do, and identify opportunities to refer to you. So I just think that, people are much more likely to refer a mediator or an arbitrator who's an expert in a specific area of conflict resolution. And again, initially, it might seem counterintuitive. It might even sound daunting. But if you're committed to creating a robust brand that helps you stand out from the competition and build a more profitable practice, you need to focus your practice. So how do you start to narrow your focus? Well, of course, I made a list for you. I've got some ideas. You can identify your strengths and interests. Reflect on the cases that you've handled in the past. Which ones did you find most engaging or rewarding? Which cases did you feel like you were able to make the most significant impact? And your answers to these questions can help you identify areas where you might want to specialize. So just based on preference. You can also do some market research. Conduct some research to understand the demand for different types of mediation and arbitration services, and look for areas that align with your interests and your strengths, but also have a sufficient market size to sustain the kind of practice that you want to build for yourself. Then the third point on my list is education and training. So once you've identified a potential focus area, seek out additional training or education in that field. And this could involve attending workshops, taking courses, earning certifications. You can use LinkedIn Learning. If you go to your network button on your LinkedIn page and scroll down, it will find upcoming educational opportunities for you to attend. Almost all of them are online, and almost all of them are free. So check that out. And then, of course, networking. Connecting with other professionals in your chosen niche, connecting with the people most likely to hire you. And those folks can, really provide you some very powerful insights, advice, potential referrals even. And number 6, my last point, is a gradual transition. So if you have developed for yourself a really wide generalistic practice and you need to tighten that focus a little bit, just remember, you don't have to make that shift all at once. You can start by accepting a few cases in your chosen specialty while you continue working in all of the other areas that you've identified. And over time, as you become more established in your niche, you can begin to accept those cases that you prefer or that are more profitable for you. So remember, the goal is not to limit your opportunities, but to become a recognized expert, a thought leader in a very specific niche. And this can make you, much more attractive to potential clients and allow you to raise your fees, which is never, something that's really terrible. All right, let me quick look in the chat. Let's see. Good morning, Nikki. How are things in Los Angeles? Enjoying the sun, I hope. And Gassan writes, I recently launched my own firm with a team of 3 senior lawyers specializing in white-collar crime and securities fraud. However, we're finding it challenging to market our services in those areas, especially with the presence of large established law firms in the market. Well, Gassan, when you look at those other large established law firms in the market, go through their websites, look at their bios, resumes, CVs, and see if you can't find some way in which you and your team can differentiate yourselves. It could be on the kind of service you offer. Maybe it's really high-end, bespoke. Maybe it's straightforward. Maybe it is more client-centric. Maybe it's more party-centric. It could be based on fees. It could be based on availability. It could be based on the platform that you use or the technology that you use. You can pick and choose from all of those and more ways that you can differentiate yourself. You can note that, amongst you and your team members, you have in excess of how many decades of experience handling these kinds of cases. Maybe you approach each of those cases as a team as opposed to a single provider. Lots of different ways that you can go about this. But I think that there is, well, I don't have to think about it. I know for sure there is plenty of business for all of us. When you look at the ways in which those law firms, Gaston, are marketing and promoting it themselves, look at their social proof. Are they writing articles? Are they putting out press releases? What do their websites look like? How often are they posting on social media? Are they giving live presentations, trainings? At which events are they networking? So see if you can't track all of those different activities and find some metrics that would maybe play in your favor. I promise you there is something that you can do better all day, every day than the firms that you're competing against. All right, I hope that that answered your question. Again, have a great cup of coffee. Sit down, think a little bit about how you've designed your practice and what your preference is in types of cases or the people that are involved or the prices that they're paying, and narrow your marketing. You don't have to narrow everything that you do right off the bat, but for purposes of business building and marketing and brand identity, it's always the smart move to narrow your focus. So that is it for me. Thanks for joining me for Marketing Monday. Have a great week. Be good humans. Bye-bye.